Best Intentions here. I'm your host, Roy, as you probably know, but Jeremy's not here with me this week. Instead, I have my man Sergio right here, and I give a round of applause, a warm welcome for him.
Yeah.
Sergio, I know you're a student around here. Obviously, we know each other. Tell me a little bit more about yourself.
Cool. Well, my name is Sergio, obviously not Jeremy. He's sick today, so I'm just taking his spot, taking this comfy chair.
Best Intentions will do that to you. It'll wipe you right off the map.
Yeah, so if you come in sick, someone's related. Anyway, a little bit about myself. I am currently a ODU, Old Dominion University student, finishing up my degree in communications with an emphasis in film studies. So my goal is to become a filmmaker, and that would just be the most amazing thing, wouldn't it?
Well, it absolutely would. I could not agree with you more, viewers. That's pretty much what we're rolling with right now. Sergio, thank you so much for introducing yourself. Tell me, since we are a show focused on college students and we cater to all of your whimsical needs and interests, tell me, if you could give one piece of advice to any incoming college freshman, what would you tell him or her?
Just one?
Well, you can just say whatever you want that you feel is most important that you think college freshmen need
Okay.
to know.
As far as things go,
Mhm.
when you're a freshman in college, people tend to worry and stress out too much about their future and how to correctly plan it all. And I think that
It's scary.
it's a little scary, and it brings up a little too much stress where college is a time in your life where you're able to explore your options. Let me say that you shouldn't worry about what major you're getting into right now. It's important, but don't worry about it right now. You're a freshman. You're going to be taking gen eds for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't worry about that. And most of these gen eds are identical for some of these majors. So don't worry about it right now. Because let me tell you what, as an example, I'm a good example of this. I started my college career, I would say, in graphic design. I had taken nothing but art courses in high school since being a freshman there. And I was like, you know what, Roy, I think I was going to be an artist. I was going to be someone who made logos and things for people.
You.
Exactly. So here comes my final year in high school, and I'm still taking like studio art classes. You know, I'm being like a special art guy. And there's this competition where we were tasked to create a logo for a credit union. Over here locally, there's the Chesapeake Credit Union. It's a bank. So they needed a new logo, and they were like, you know what? How about we give those kids $50 if they create the winning logo?
Those go crazy, yeah.
Yeah. So $50 as a senior who had like a little baby job, that's still a good chunk of change. That's money. So long story short, we were doing this competition. I drew up my designs, and it took a week. I had a friend in the class who didn't want to do it. So I had some concerns. I was like, I've seen your work. You do good stuff. But he didn't want to do it. He comes to the final day, everyone's turning in the project. 5 minutes before the class, he whips out a napkin and just starts scrawling on it. So I'm on my way out. I turned in my project. The teacher says, make sure you clean up your station because you wouldn't want any trash on the final day. And I'm like, I already cleaned up my mess. And she's like, there's a napkin still over there. And I was like, well, that was probably Adam's. He was doing something. So I go ahead and check it out because I was going to throw it away. And
That's a lot building it.
It is. I am stopped in my tracks. I take a look at what's on this napkin. It was the most ridiculous thing. She was getting annoyed that I hadn't actually thrown it out yet, so she walks over and is like, Sergio, why haven't? Oh my God.
It's a catchy thing.
No, she looks at the napkin, and it's a skeleton key. And the hooks and keys, which change the tumblers,
Right, yeah.
spell out Chesapeake Credit Union.
Wow.
I was taken aback from that because my design, I thought it was pretty professional. I thought it was good, but
Well, yeah.
this guy won that competition, by the way, on something he drew on a napkin.
Like 10 minutes before probably.
He got 5 minutes before class ended. Now, I figured with a major that you're looking for, that you want to be in one that you feel as if you can be the absolute best, that you have a raw talent for. If you can find what that is, and that's why I said don't stress out or don't focus too much on what your major can be. because it can change at any moment's notice.
Obviously.
My major changed to business, which changed into something else. I'm still business oriented, so I like thinking way into the future and about how financially stable I will
Well, I
be.
mean, most people do. You have to have a
Yeah,
plan if
too.
you're going into something,
Of course.
especially as expensive as college is. You can't just fling yourself into something
No.
like that.
So after all that said was done, everything was said and done, I took like an acting course, fell in love with it, and I figured out after many years that I had a true passion for it, that I had a knack for socializing with people and carrying a like a character with me in any situation.
Thank goodness, or I'd be very lonely today.
So that segued into me pursuing a filmmaking degree, and I'm here now, replacing a sick guy.
It's true, yes. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that, Sergio. I think if I give one piece of advice to the college freshman, I would just say, just to be extremely broad, I would just tell them to be as open as you possibly can about the experience of college, because as cliched as it sounds, it's literally like nothing we've ever done before, because we're planning for our whole future. We're trying to lay things out. We're interacting with all sorts of new people's ideas and concepts. I mean, it's just way out of this world. So
I didn't even, like, my parents actually never went to college. So, neither had my grandparents or my uncles or aunts. Nobody in my entire generation of family members.
congratulations.
I'm the first. Everyone decided to go through the military. That's what, I mean, if you just watch Lakia's show, you'll know that she was just talking about that Virginia is a strong military place. So, if you're a child going to college or whatever right now, you know that you probably have some military parents or
doesn't
something.
or something like that.
So being the first is scary. I had to figure out everything about financial aid, loans, all this stuff by myself. And
It's true. We have a segment about that coming next week. Viewers, stay tuned. We have an actual financial advisor coming and talk to us about college financing. But anyway,
yeah,
let's
so
continue.
it's a scary thing, and it really explores, I guess, how quickly you grow up, because this is your future. And when you're figuring out that you have to basically take your future by the horns, this is your future. So you
Nobody's
have
going to do it for you.
You have to do the research. You have to prepare, plan, and organize for everything, and have some contingency plans. Sacrificing a little bit of your social life for a job might be something that you guys should consider, because it's always been said that, oh, you're a college student. Oh, so you're poor.
Right, yeah. Or you're an alcoholic.
Or that, yeah. A lot of binge drinking. But yeah, take that to heart. There's a lot of planning going on, and it needs to be something you prepare for. Usually, when you're in your first years of something, you tend to be a little lax on how focused you want to be, and it's easy to see that. Oh, your freshman year, you got C's.
Yeah.
But then in your final years, you started getting like real serious, and then like your A's and B's showed up. How about keeping it, like
Consistent, Well, thank you for that, Sergio. I think it's interesting, though, because in my college career, I'm a music industry student at JMU, and because of that, I'm actually in the music school there. And that's something that requires a whole lot of advanced planning, especially you have to actually audition on some sort of musical instrument to get into the school in the first place. You have to take over 180 credit hours of classes, so it's not like you can just flip-flop between majors. I mean, that's a really interesting
you
perspective.
waste so much time. It's like, well, I think I want to try a different instrument.
Yeah, no,
Really?
you're not going
You
to
just
that
wasted
step.
2 years. To be
I
like,
mean, and
or more.
hundreds of thousands of dollars, but whatever. And something like that, I really appreciate your perspective, because, like I said, I'm pretty much locked in and working overtime no matter
You
what
are.
I'm doing.
So you being in music is something that can't change.
It's with you for life, kids. Remember that.
I mean, it almost reminds me of that movie Van Wilder, where the guy was in college for like 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
So for you,
Well,
that's why I think it's lucky for people who figure out what they want to do, who they want to be in life, that early on. So
absolutely, yeah. So you can just go crazy with that.
congrats, Roy, for figuring that out. So
I
you
mean,
spent the
you
right amount of
definitely got to
years.
put in the hours for that, but it's not for everybody. I mean, but if you do go for something like that, you do have to commit to it, because I know some people that have been in the music school getting their undergraduate degrees for 7 years. I knew
Wow.
somebody that I think graduated last year, but that's still up in the air for that. But
Graduated with what? What kind of degree?
music industry degree and music education degree.
Is there like a
There's a
bachelor's
huge-
or
well, yeah, bachelor's,
Okay.
undergraduate, but I mean, huge credit hour requirements. So
That's insane. See, for me, it's yeah, I'm not the perfect example here. Like, I had spent 2 years doing something that wasn't even my major that I have now. So that's 2 years of schooling that.
and I mean, if I can cut you off right there, I mean, college
Yeah.
is all about broadening your interest and finding out exactly
It
what you
is.
like.
It is. You get culture, you get more information, and you learn from your mistakes. And they're not even mistakes. These are choices that you make, and you stand by them because they help you grow as a person.
Absolutely.
And then you make better decisions down the road, and then you become more focused on what it is you actually want to become. For me, I understand that my personality fits two different roles. With my business kind of mind, and the fact that being a gamer for so many years, like I've always felt as if I could be a good leader. I felt as if I could do that. Now other people can say otherwise, but I feel as if I have a natural thing into that. And then I also am a bit of a funny character, so
Yeah.
it comes to socialization, being able to talk with people, and then yeah, sure, I can act, right? I know how to act, and then bam, you mix the two together, and you have director, you know.
Throw that together. Well, Sergio, thank you for giving us that. I'm going to ask you one question before we break, though. The biggest problem you faced as a freshman, what was that? How did you overcome that?
The biggest problem with freshman, parking was no, no.
Don't get that.
You know, overcoming freshman status, you have to realize that right now you're in high school 2.0. This is basically, you're segueing into just classes that are almost identical, that they're just
Sure,
maybe
yeah.
a step harder. But I don't think I had to overcome much aside from the fact that I really need to figure out what it is that I want to do. And in my freshman year, I had taken 0 acting classes. I had, oh, now I get what the V was. Thank you. So, I had taken 0 acting classes. They were just gen eds going into business because I, like with the story that I just told earlier, I completely scrapped graphic design because honestly, I would spend hours and hours and hours making a design. That's because when you spend that much hours on something, you can get something that's actually good. But when somebody can do it in 5 minutes, you have to question what it is you're actually
Right,
going to
yeah.
want to do. So if you can produce something on your own skill. Actually, I spoke with my girlfriend about this. She's going to school.
Mhm.
And it's a question about what do you have fun doing? Because
Absolutely,
you turn
yeah.
that into a career, and it's not even work. You wake up like, all right, go to and then you walk out and
And surprise,
it's
we're
fun.
here.
You don't want to wake up like, yeah, oh god, McDonald's. You don't want to hate
That's
every
true.
moment that you wake up to go to work. You don't even want to call it work. It's another adventure. You wake up and it's like, let's get creative.
It's true.
Let's get outside the box. Let's just have some fun because
I know
that's
people
what it
with
is.
like 6-figure salaries that hate every day they go to work. You
Yeah.
know?
See, I've created a design like A, B, C, D, and E. You got your A job, pays the most, and you have fun doing it. B job, pays the most, but you don't like it.
Yeah. Money don't sleep.
C job doesn't pay that much, but you enjoy it. The D job, military. Now, I don't want to rag on anybody who's actually into the military.
Oh my goodness.
This D job, if you love the military and this is what you want to do, that is the A job.
Mhm.
I'm just going to say you right now for people who have zero interest in the military, the D job is military. Now here comes the E job, the job you hate and it doesn't pay enough. That's
I love
McDonald's.
McDonald's, yeah.
That's exactly what it is. So figure out with those 5 letters which job you want. Everyone wants the A job, pays the most, and you have fun doing it. You don't. If you want to settle for B job, you have money, then spend the money doing fun stuff, but then you'll hate your job, which would cause stress, maybe you end up in a divorce later on in your life. And
Well, you might get your own sitcom later, so who knows?
you get enough like brow furrowing and like forehead wrinklage to like, that guy looks very dignified.
Mm.
I like his aging.
Yeah.
After years of stress, he's only like 25.
That's not a good look. People don't go for that.
That's unfortunate. They can do that with makeup. You don't need to like go out to do that. But yeah, for me as a freshman, figuring out what it is that I need to do to get the head up on focusing, I would say that would be the biggest obstacle to overcome. It actually didn't happen until like 2 years ago.
Well,
Ain't that crazy?
I mean, that's something you gotta find for yourself. So, anyway, well, thank you for watching us. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna take a quick break right now. Don't go anywhere and stay tuned. Welcome back, viewers. You're watching Best Intentions with your host Roy and your pseudo-host Sergio over here.
I'm best. He's intentions.
Maybe, yeah. Well, we're missing our host Jeremy. Anyway, we were just discussing advice that we have for college freshmen starting the whole new college idea, identity, new partner life, whatever have you. But Sergio, right now I want to discuss with you a little bit on a more lighthearted note. If there was anything you want, is there anything that you wish you could have done in college that you have not done now, since you and I were seniors and we're rolling into our?
How is that lighthearted when I'm like, I wish I did this.
Well,
I'm gonna be depressed.
Let's
about
not
all
turn
the
this
things
into
I wish I did.
let's not turn this into a Beyonce music video here. Like, for instance, I'll go first. One thing I wish I would have done, being a senior at James Madison University, I have a lot of incredible opportunities to do a lot of amazing stuff. But we have a tradition at James Madison University where we go, seniors, people graduating, go and explore the steam tunnels that were built underneath the entire campus that were used in the olden days to carry steam heat throughout the ententire campus and make it really nice and cozy. Those have stopped carrying steam heat since we have nice modern things, but they're still underground and there's still access points.
The catacombs.
Basically, yeah, that you can get into from all sorts of areas on campus. There's a computer lab where you have to climb through the ceiling and go through a walkway and go down through a wall into these tunnels. There's an actual manhole you can crawl through. You can just rip that bad boy up out of the sidewalk and get down into it. Apparently, it's this huge thing that you can do at JMU, and everybody does it. And some people
do
call
you
it.
guys have like treasure hunts? And
People
like
there's a cult
Ninja Turtles
following.
maybe?
Well, there's a cult following of people that do this all the time. And apparently, it's really cool. And I think there were only 23 arrests last year made for people who actually went under the tunnels because you weren't allowed to do that.
Oh, you can't go in there, but people do it anyway.
It's like, well, obviously we're college students. We don't obey rules. But
Oh, so you're telling me this is one of the things you want to do?
this is the one of the things that I want to do that I have not done.
Are you willing to get arrested?
I mean, we'll find out later.
We're
Don't
gonna
sue
get
me,
arrested
kids.
in like a month and a half because that's the first thing you did.
I mean, it's something you just have to find out. It's
When are you graduating?
spring of this year,
Spring.
May.
Okay,
coming up.
so do you want to wait until like
I feel like it
they
would
might
be-
withhold your degree? So well, earlier you do it, the better, so you can recover.
Maybe. I mean, most of the time that people do this is during exam week, though, since they have a lot more free time and they want to get all their last kicks in, stuff like
It's
that.
like a senior prank. Get lost in the catacombs.
Basically, yes. And I mean, supposedly my girlfriend actually did this before she graduated. They're pretty cool.
Oh, so now you have to do it. It's the peer pressure.
Basically, so I don't look like a giant wuss in front of all her friends. So no. But it's something really cool that I've always really wanted to try.
Oh,
It's
that's
like
so
that
cool.
mythical Mount Olympus that everybody hears about, but you don't really go to.
Now, see, ODU doesn't really have that many things. Like they have sneak right into front of the web and then like ride the lion.
Now,
So-
could you fill us in on what those are? Because that sounds really euphemistic.
Okay.
What is the web and the line?
Well, it's a web. It's the web center. It's a building.
Oh, gotcha.
In front of the web center is a enormous statue in a fountain of a lion,
I do know what you're talking
and
about.
people just climb on top of the lion. There's no climbing sign, so you should do it.
Yeah, obviously.
And then people just take little Instagram photos and then just post
Oh,
that.
so
They try to do that before they're graduating, so that you got to do it. It's against the rules,
Kids
but,
didn't have it.
but at least you have that picture. The thing is, I would only post it after I got my degree,
Right, yeah.
so I don't want anything withheld.
Stay in school.
And then the other thing, just to say, there's a seal in the
Like an actual seal?
no, not the animal, but there's a seal in the middle of the grounds in front
Okay.
of the web center,
Very nice.
and it's like iron bound and all that. But they're saying that if there's a curse, if you stepped on the seal at any time before you graduated, you wouldn't.
Interesting.
That apparently
I haven't heard of that.
you touch it, or you step on it, or you walk over to face the seal,
Mm-hmm.
that something happens. That
Something all
you
the way
fail
up.
some classes and then you won't be able to graduate or something.
Wow.
So it's a curse, and apparently it's come true on several occasions.
Obviously, it has to have some proof behind it.
It's weird.
I think if I was a tour guide for ODU, I'd make all the incoming freshmen walk over it and then tell the story.
Oh no,
That would be great.
because like no, they told us during the tour to not step on it. That once you graduated, they come back and just like start stomping on the seal, and stomping it
break
up.
it down right on the
Yeah, I guess so they do that. As far as things that I wish I could have done, you know what? I started my whole college experience at Tidewater Community College. It's a community college. It's 2 years, but they don't have that dorm thing. I don't know. It was because no one in my family also went to college, so I didn't know how expensive it would be.
Yeah, I mean, for a totally new experience that nobody's gone through in your family, you just gotta ease into that.
I don't know, but now I think I'm like, I'm sad because it's too late. I'm already a senior, and I'm graduating in spring with this guy at a different college. But yeah, I mean, I wish I could have had like a really crappy roommate, or got into one of those parties, because I mean, after classes I just go home.
I mean, it's true. It's your own thing. I went off to Harrisonburg at JMU when I started my college career, so obviously I had a freshman roommate in the on-campus dorm.
So you have to see all my schools I've been to are so local. I can just drive there.
I know. Sometimes I wish I could have had that just for the convenience and obviously the low cost and stuff like that. I mean, but having a roommate like something like that for the first time was a really interesting experience.
Was he bad?
He wasn't bad. He wasn't bad by any means. He was pretty reasonable because he was some guy that I kind of knew from high school, but I wasn't like too buddy with, so I didn't have to like hang on.
Was he like more famous than you? Or so?
Probably. I wasn't okay with that.
He was one of like the popular guys, but
That would
women and
yeah,
things.
that would be kind of miserable. But I did stay in the freshman athletic dorm of JMU. That's like the two worst people that you'll ever encounter in life is college freshmen and athletes. They were together and they were sleeping across from me.
so
There was a smell about the building that I cannot describe, but I'll remember it.
there was an odor. We couldn't explain it. It was
Yeah.
about mustiness and a lot of axe spray.
Definitely.
Cool.
I mean, but it was an interesting experience just to be forced to get along with somebody like that. I say that like I'm the worst person in the entire world.
Was it like bunk space, or you had like two twins?
It was two very tiny twins, as in they were like midget twin mattresses.
You
But
roll over and you like you fell off.
yeah, I'm on the floor. It was pretty cool.
Nice. I wonder if anybody could just like bring in their own like Murphy bed, and then it's like, oh, I gotta.
That's the thing though. You could. I've seen people just literally yank the bed frames, mattresses, and all school property, and just ship them back home and bring in their own bed and mattress and everything. But I mean, as long as you get back to it, James Madison.
It's like a hotel where you like steal towels.
Well, you don't steal it, you bring it back to the university again.
Oh, yeah, but they bring back.
Right.
So
anyway, freshman roommates, if I could give one piece of advice to people moving in with a freshman for the first time, play nice. That's all you gotta do. If you're moving in with somebody that you've never met before, I mean, just be open to what kind of person they are. They've grown up in a completely different background from you sometimes. And I mean, it'll just be much more of their experience if you get along with each other and try to respect each other. But enough with the nonsense, happy joy talk. Let's get on to some weird news. Best intentions weird news of the day. In Shanghai today, square dancing has finally been made legal. Yay!
Oh
Happy
yeah,
rejoicing.
rejoicing.
In Shanghai, apparently it was illegal for many, many years because it created noise disturbance and people were unhappy about it. But
noise disturbance of
stomping feet and
what? And no clown dancing. You can't wear those wooden shoes.
my goodness. But anyway, citizens of Shanghai will rejoice because of that. They can square dance to their heart's content. But I think we will see how that story develops later. Next story comes from our very own USA. What do you think students at Harvard are working on developing right now? Because they're usually in the science, medicine field of law, school and whatnot. What do you think they're working
What
on?
are they developing?
What do you think they are? Like, what comes to mind when you think of a Harvard lab or law office?
A robotic judge.
Well, that's a very good guess, actually. But no, from the Science and Technology of Division of our very own Harvard University, one of the most acclaimed universities in the world, we have aerosol microwavable cake batter. Go you, Harvard.
Aerosol.
Go you, Harvard. Aerosol, like
microwave.
you know, the cans of Cheese Whiz and whipped cream. That with cake batter that you can spray.
Oh my God!
Throw it in a microwave.
But why is it microwavable?
Why not?
Why not? That's the
It's the
best
American-
rebuttal to anything. It's like
It's
so.
the-
Why are you naked? It's like, why aren't you?
We might have
Why
to
not?
that, but I mean, it's the American spirit of innovation. Thank you very much, Harvard University.
It's
for
weird.
that.
I mean, like, who's
I feel like that
funding
could be huge or entirely useless. I feel like there's no in between for that. There's no.
Well, do you think
casual-
Cheese Whiz is something people buy nowadays anymore? I mean, I
that's
know it was
true.
big 10 years ago.
That's
I mean,
true.
I even had it at the dog.
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
Probably looked wrong with it.
Anyway, yeah, we'll ignore that later. Don't Photoshop us. Moving on, Wisconsin police chief was recently arrested for signing a leading member of the Tea Party up for various gay porn and dating sites. If convicted,
Wow.
this police chief could pay a $1,000 fine or 90 days in jail, but he can still serve as police chief.
Oh, so they're just gonna let them stay on. That's like if you're a president of the principal of a school,
Right.
or like the chief of police,
Mhm.
or I guess any ranking police officer.
Position of
You
authority.
you never lose your job. It's always.
Can you lose your job? Who's
I don't know.
gonna-
That's the thing. It's like, well, who else is going to protect the city?
More importantly, who's going to make me get out of this office? I mean,
Exactly. You can be like, oh, I'm gonna take your pay away for like 2 weeks.
Maybe throw you in jail for a week or two, but you know.
Slap on the wrist.
Whatever. All right, and we're going to wrap it up with one more weird news story of the day, possibly my favorite. In San Francisco, of all places, a man got drunk on Saturday night, and he posed as a TSA agent, traffic security agency.
Oh.
He went to an airport, and he felt up people without having any form of identification or whatever for like an hour and a half, I think. This was a man that convinced another woman that she needed to be felt up by him after she had already gone through security.
Wow. So, I don't know. Should we like congratulate the guy or like scorn him for
I
foiling?
don't know what.
See, people get paid for figuring out security flaws in the system.
That's true, like especially in computer science industry. so-
Exactly. So like even what is it? The people, Microsoft
Mhm.
with Internet Explorer, there was like a $100,000
That, yeah.
like prize for
Bounty.
bounty. Yeah, they call them bounties.
Mhm.
So I don't think he was doing it for the bounty, and this guy had
Doing shit about it.
malicious reasons to feeling up probably a voluptuous woman. So
Sure, you gotta keep your standards up.
So just to keep up with the status quo of other news networks. Shame on you!
Yes.
Shame on you, fake
Tisk,
TSA
tisk,
agents!
tisk.
Why?
But he sounds like a cool guy. I follow him on Twitter.
Don't listen to this guy. He'll
Anyway,
turn you astray.
that's all we have time for this week for Best Intentions. Thank you all so much for watching. I know I had a great time. Thank you, Sergio, very much.
No problem.
I enjoyed it so much.
I
It feels
appreciate
kind
it.
of weird though. I don't want to do that again. Anyway, we'll catch you next week. Tune in for Best Intentions.
Yeah.